All right. So going into this weekend, we have a PBC contest. I don't know if this one is on. I don't know if this one is on network. It might be. I'm not sure. I can tweet that out when I figure it out. But we have Danny Garcia, Philadelphia, going up against Brooklyn's own Paulie the Magic Man, Malignaggi. What's your thoughts on this one, man? I know you're a pretty decent Danny Swift guy. Some people have been calling him Danny Gift. It's his debut at 147.
I'm calling it out, man. If he don't hurt Malignaggi in the first 3 rounds, the title is going back to Paulie. The power has not been there. The activity has not been there. And Malignaggi's been in there with some hitters. So if Garcia comes in there and he still hits like he's 140, I think Paulie's going to outwork him. He's going to jab him to death. He's going to look pretty decent against him, because I don't really think Garcia's made anybody look bad as far as from a boxing level. And he claims that his hunger's going to be back, and he claims that he's going to go in here and he's going to have his power again. And I think a lot of people start to say that when they see that their flames fizzled at a lower weight class, and they think that that's just a way to try to get your buzz back, jump up to the next division, and you're just going to be, you're going to carry power, you're going to carry the energy. Oh, I was tired because I cut weight. I don't know, man. I don't think that's what we saw at the end of the 140 run for Garcia.
Garcia is one of my favorite dudes in the game as far as a person. I believe, and one thing that could be working against him is I believe he's expecting his first child next week on the 11th of August. Having his fight on the 4th of August, I believe, or is the 1st? Maybe it's the first.
The first.
So Garcia is 30-0 with 17 knockouts, 27 years old. Malignaggi's 34, coming off of that brutal KO, 4th round KO from Porter. I don't know, man. I don't see Malignaggi being able to keep him off. I really don't keep him off of him. I really see it going maybe 6 or 7 rounds, and I would expect that Garcia should be able to sit down on some punches, get his left hook in there, possibly get Malignaggi out of there. I'm very surprised that Malignaggi took on such a fighter for his first fight, coming off of a brutal knockout. I know the fight that was scheduled for a few weeks ago was canceled because of an injury. I just see Malignaggi just trying to keep the pace up with a busy jab, maybe doing a lot of feigning, trying to replicate some of the movement that Mauricio Herrera and Lamont Peterson were able to exhibit against Garcia. But in the long run, I mean, he's an older fighter, so that extra energy probably doesn't result in him being more fresher come 8-9 rounds 8, 9, and 10. So I don't know. I think Garcia probably gets it back on track in this one. But like you said, to your point, if he doesn't get him out of there, or he doesn't really batter him the way that Cotto and Hitman Hatton did, then it's really going to speak volumes about what's next for Garcia. So we'll see what happens then in that one. I think the intro fight for this weekend's card is going to feature New York's Danny Jacobs, also a PBC commentator, versus Sergio Mora of what was the old Contender.
I look forward to it. It should be exciting. I think it'll be a good test for Jacobs. As much as Mora was never known as a great puncher,
right?
He had I would say, an elite boxer. I think he had very good boxing skills. He just didn't have some of the other natural gifts necessary to go out there and actually take over a division. I mean, he's 28-3. He doesn't have a horrible record, but 9 knockouts. I mean, that's not going to get it done for you too often.
Not at that elite level.
No, not at all.
Jacobs is on like a streak of 9 or 11 stoppages, 3 years away from removed from being from cancer, from being diagnosed with cancer and overcoming cancer. He's also the number 8 middleweight according to ESPN. Any chances he could get a knockout in this fight, or is it just going the distance and he edges out a decision?
Oh, I think he can absolutely knock him out. I mean, I think Jacobs has some real solid power. I mean, he sits down on his punches. He lands them flush. He's one of those guys that has real good TV knockouts. Like, you like to see his knockouts. I'm not really sure what all is in his skill set. I don't think he's very fast. I don't think he's the quickest guy. I don't think he has the natural length to where he can avoid punches by staying on the outside. I'm not really sure what cloth he's in, he's cut from, but he kind of has that Porter grinding type. I've worked hard all my life. You got the cancer story. He's not going to run. He's going to come and he's ready to fight. I think we can find out maybe how he does against a good boxer, because if he gets through this fight, he wins this fight. The division, the people above him in the division are some pretty tough guys, and also the fight is on ESPN, I believe. I just saw it at 9:00, so I think it's a big fight for him. It gives him a chance to really see how he can handle some of these slick guys in the division.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think trying to find that myself.
It says ESPN at 9.
Okay. So the second ESPN PBC card.
Yes.
I believe that. Yeah, that's right. That sounds right. Yeah, I think Danny is just, his biggest strength is being a professional. A professional fighter, shows up, made weight, well thought out game plan. He's probably going to be disciplined, pretty good at adjusting. He can set up the knockout. Just an all-around well-balanced guy. I don't know if he's elite just yet, but like I said, he's a guy with other irons in the fire besides just being a pound-for-pound guy. He's commentating. He's working on his brand after life, after boxing. Everybody's not going to be able to make the type of money that Mayweather has been able to haul in from, his career in the ring. So, like I said, Danny Jacobs is just a guy that's going to show up, be ready to fight. He's going to give you a tough fight, and he's very humble. And it's just, he's just not one of these reckless guys that has that fast living outside of the ring that's going to do some questionable things inside of it. So you gotta be there for him. But I do think he gets this victory and moves on. Moving further down our list, we're about at the halfway point here. One of your guys, I didn't realize he was 49-7-1. I know there's some storylines in there in those 7 losses, but a Hall of Fame fighter coming off a 2-year retirement, I believe. Sugar Shane Mosley is getting ready to fight Mayorga, a guy that he's already knocked out. They're getting ready to have a part 2 August 29th, man. I threw this on the list because, one, I'm afraid that this is a gateway fight, that if he does something explosive versus Mayorga, he's probably looking for another fight. And he has issued challenges to Floyd. He's been critical of Floyd fighting Berto. He says that he proclaims that he could do better numbers than Berto. He's offered to fight Amir Khan, which with Khan's speed, even despite the poor showing versus Algieri, I would probably still take Khan by a landslide over over Sugar Shane at this point. I would just say, man, one thing that's really shocked me, and it's kind of uncharacteristic of Mosley, is his Twitter, his activity on Twitter. I mean, it's nothing like his personality that he's displayed all of these years while in the ring. But he's very combative and confrontational on there. And I believe this fight kind of developed out of some of his activity online. Like I said, I'd be very interested to see if he is indeed actually typing these tweets or tweeting these himself, baby. You should check it out at Shane Mosley. I will also say his son, Mosley Jr., I believe, he just was recently handed down a suspension that's going to cost him 2 fights. I think he had a chance to be on the undercard of one of these PBC cards. Maybe I don't want to say it was this weekend, but anyway, what's your thoughts on this rematch between Sugar Shane Mosley and what is Mayorga's first name?
Ricardo. First, let me go on record to say that Mosley was one of my favorite fighters in the 90s, 2000, up to probably about 2007. Since then, I've thought the guy, it's just not the same fighter, the same fire. He knocked out Mayorga in the last 3 seconds in the first fight. He would have lost had it went to the He would have lost had it went to the scorecard. A $50 pay-per-view. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what.
Hold up, that fight is pay-per-view.
It's a pay-per-view fight for $49.95. I don't know what's going on with this man at this point. I can't tell you. I don't want to see it. I'm not excited. I see why Floyd. You don't fight for 2 years and then come out and think you're gonna get a fight against Floyd Mayweather. There's some other guys calling him out, a younger fighter that's talking about fighting. I don't know, man. I'm not sure. Mosley's a great boxer and will end up in the Hall of Fame, and I don't know what he's trying to do to his career to cement it any further than it's already been cemented.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate, man. I'm gonna just say I did catch a little side note. I caught Oscar on Sports Nation on ESPN this week with Michelle Beadle, Kellerman, and Marcellus Wiley. And it was funny because he mentioned he was ready to fight either Golovkin or Floyd. He said he was all healed up, all the years of the surgeries and the injuries, he was fully recuperated. And he said he was 100% a go to fight one of those two individuals. And he said he asked his daughter about it. I don't know how old she is, maybe younger than 5, but she said, "Daddy, I don't want to see you do it." So he opted to decline accepting Floyd's invite, to be his September 12th opponent. I don't know if I believe that or not, but I think it was a good, you kicked the tires on that decision, and I'm sure Floyd looks like a beatable opponent for Oscar. But being removed as many years as he has, I didn't see him getting a tune-up fight in and then fighting Floyd, or just going straight to Floyd. I thought both of those would have been poor decisions. But we're halfway through my list here. We're doing okay on time, so I'm going to try to get to these last 3. Matter of fact, we can skip Mayweather-Berto. We've already spoken on that on our first boxing podcast. Pay me no mind. So some of these other fights out here, one of them has already been signed. 2 of them are kind of pending. What's your thoughts on Khan versus either Kell Brook, an all UK bout, or there's also talks of Khan just facing Paquiao? Came out this week that from a number of sites that Khan kind of messed up his opportunity to fight Floyd because he was a little too mouthy. That's from a representative of the money team, I believe. And before you get into it, I just say that's the thing that frustrates me with Mayweather. Ricky Hatton calls out Floyd, he gets a fight. Paquiao and what's his name? The trainer, Freddie Roach, they called out Floyd for a number of years. They didn't get a fight. It took 5 years to make the fight happen. Now here it is, despite not winning the fight in dominating fashion versus Algieri. Here's Khan, who's lobbied hard for this fight for the past 18, 26, 30 months, and now the report is, well, you were just talking too much. So anyway, I think a lot of these fighters need to be realistic. And I know that Floyd payday is good. Maybe it's your competitive juices flowing and wanting to face the best. But I just feel like some of these cats need to be realistic, that they need to build their careers moving forward, excluding any thoughts on Floyd. That's just my opinion. But would you like the Brook fight or Paquiao for Khan? Or did the Algieri thing just leave a bad taste in your mouth?
I was just about to say that I don't know that I want to see either of those fights. I didn't think he looked good against Algieri. I didn't think he looked polished. I didn't think he was powerful. Algieri decided to start hunting him at the second half of the fight, and I just feel like this may sound crazy, I wish all of the top